New season, season 3, episode 1 of season 3. What is our overall episode count, Josh?
31.
41. We're at 41, right? 31?
Season 3?
31. We did 20 in first season. Then we did 10.
10 in the second.
So, episode 31. You got it right here. Season 3, episode 1, episode 30 freaking 1. If you don't know, it's Willis Sness.
Did you have 41 top 10?
I did, absolutely.
Okay.
Come from the guy who reads the wrong box. But, hey, at the end of the day, if you're just coming in, it's Willis Sness. Everybody can pick all these awesome Super Nintendo games out. And we have had some awesome ones, but we don't do that. We let a randomizer will choose what we pick or what we play. And then we rank them each season against themselves. And then we put it at the end of the season into a big pile of games until we get all 700 games. Season 1 and 2 was pretty fun, I would say.
Had some real lows.
So, we had two banger games.
We had some real lows, and then we had 2 real highs.
I'm not going to lie. Last night, Josh, I played some Space Megaforce.
You went back and played?
I played some Space Megaforce. Wasn't as fun, I don't think, when I first started the first levels, but once you got knee deep, level 7, it was just freaking balls out, dicks out for Harambe. It was just exactly the way I remembered. Didn't finish the game, but I did enjoy it. I was laughing. I was like, I didn't think Josh would think on a Wednesday night I'll be sitting here playing Space Megaforce.
Yeah, see, I went back and I replayed some Mega Man X2.
Okay.
Played it a little bit, then I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, man, I really want to play the rest. And then I was about to, and then I'm like, you know what? I gotta wait.
Okay.
I gotta wait.
Okay. So, to start this season off, we drew a game that was called Pieces. I'm very confident that I've never heard of this game, and you probably never have either. You want me to read the back of the box?
Dude, if this back of the box is super elaborate.
I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I have a feeling we're going to have different outlooks on this game. And I think the back of this box is excellent.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of puns in here that I think hits.
I love a good pun.
All right. If you're looking for a fun family-style puzzle game that provides hours of brain-teasing action, then Pieces will thrill you to pieces. Both children and adults will find puzzles with the perfect level of difficulty. You can go it alone or get up to 5 competitors to take a piece of the action on the puzzling playing field. Don't fall to pieces if you don't find a solution. There are plenty of helpful tricks and items to help you along the way. Now, mind you, every time I said pieces, there was no, I did air quotes, but it was just fluid as you read it. And I'm like, they've kind of fit this in here cleverly.
Yeah, not bad.
They didn't force it in there, I don't feel like. I guess we'll start here. Basically, we'll say the game was released in 94 in North America, December of 94. Japan got it earlier in July of 94. So you call it roughly half a year difference. It was developed by Prism Kikaku, K-I-K-A-K-U.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's called Prism. So this, I think, has more interesting... There's some stuff I don't know if you noticed on the startup screen, Josh, but there's more, like a damn transformer. There's more than meets the eye with this game to me. And so, Prism Kikaku, Prism, I think this was their first release. They were a Japanese developer that did several role-playing games. They did a series called Moral Kingdom. I guess it's very popular. I've never played it.
Never heard of it.
And they also, I don't know if they are still in it, but they had the ties to making Disgaea. Just Gia. I know that's a big game. It's the one that has that big penguin that's always like the mascot, Prinny. I know.
Oh, yeah.
So they actually, some of their stuff lives on today, and I'm going to drop a little fun fact in here. Like, this company made a shit ton of RPGs. And I mean, I was looking to see how many of them I knew, and there wasn't a whole lot, but man, it was a shit ton.
It was
from like mobile phone to like some NES, like up to PS4 stuff. So
they're still ongoing today.
Yes. So in 2012, this was a little Wikipedia snippet. In 2012, the company was awarded a Guinness Book of World Records for being a company that released the most strategy RPGs. So that was in 2012. Go look at the list at Wikipedia. It's a fuck ton of damn games. Like, I mean, it is a lot. And some of them are PS4 games that I know I've seen, but I've never really, played or got into. So then the other part that was kind of strange was in Japan, Hori Electric published it. But in North America, did you catch who published it?
I did not. I didn't notice that.
Okay, right at the startup screen, Atlus. Atlus West.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same Atlus that did Ogre Battle, the Guilty Gear, Persona, the Megami Tensei. That Atlus. So you've literally, when you put this down here, you've got pretty much 2 RPG companies. I'd maybe not call Atlus that. To me, they are. But
Atlus
you have
is a big company.
You have a company that is known for RPGs, and then Atlus that is just its own.
It's freaking, it's huge.
Yes. And you put these together, and they make a freaking game about jigsaw puzzles. You know
what? I give them props for shooting their shot.
Well, so...
Do they make any more puzzle games after this?
I'm sure. I don't think they made anything quite like this. I don't think I've ever played a game quite like this.
I definitely.
So, as you would imagine, when you hear Pieces, regardless of the RPG background of the companies, this is a puzzle game. And when you say, hey, what would you expect Pieces? First thing I think of automatically is, if you tell me Pieces puzzle game, I'm thinking of like a column where you've got 3 pieces, like off Sega, the typical match 3 type game.
I was thinking that or some type of Tetris knockoff.
So that is completely opposite of what the hell we got.
Yeah.
So what happens in this game is you can play against the computer or up to 5 players. You can use the SNES mouse in this. You got 3 different difficulties, and basically what you're doing is you're playing against a human or a computer player, and you've got 3 puzzles that you're working on. I guess you would call it, to me, that would be the level.
Yeah.
Or each opponent. You're playing ongoing 3 puzzles, and you're picking up jigsaw pieces and putting them on this grid in the correct spot, if you can. And once you complete the first puzzle, if you complete it for the other guy, it don't wait. It goes to the next one. It's a scramble to who can beat 3 puzzles fastest first. There's power-ups in there, and the power-ups are one of the things I'm going to come back around on the Make It. Some of them they're unique. Some of them are, game changers. Some of them, it might be better for playing multiplayer than a computer. And that's such. So to me, I played medium difficulty, and I played through, and I think there was like 5 or 6 bosses that I played. And you just play them at multiple puzzles going across. Is there anything I left out, Josh?
No, you pretty much covered it. I mean, it was... I like the power-ups. I thought that was a really neat feature that they added to it. Because, to me, that sort of made it feel like, what was that game? Tetris 99.
Mm-hmm.
I think me and you got real heavy into it for a little bit whenever it first came out.
Yeah, and it is. I still play it.
You do?
Yeah, I don't. Do. I try not to unless I plan on not doing anything all day because I'll just get sucked in.
Yeah, you're just there.
So it is set up a lot like that, or like a versus Dr. Mario, where it's just like you can see the other person moving. You enter putting, I guess the one thing I should say, all 3 puzzles that you put together are the same. So like the first puzzle you put together will be the same puzzle.
Yep.
The second one you put together will be the same.
Yeah.
The third is the same. Now if you move on to the second one, he's still on the first one. Like say,
kudos to you. Yeah, kudos to you.
And there is I think there's one saying that I'll probably come back around to this. In this game, I feel like you can't win the game in the first round, but you sure as hell can lose it in the first puzzle. And I did that several times. I will be pretty frank in telling you I played it today because I was going to beat it, and I did, and my thumb hurts like hell right now. My thumb feels like it's been rubbed across a cheese grater a few times.
I didn't complete this game.
Well, I came close. I came close. Like, I beat it literally about an hour ago. And I beat it on medium difficulty. I think it goes a little bit more harder. But let me see if I've missed anything on the build-up here, Josh. I think that's about all I got that,
That's a solid build-up for this puzzle game.
I do enjoy the back of the box. I like the back of the box. So
I like the cover art, honestly.
Well, let's bring it in to make it right here.
All right, cool.
First thing is the photo on the box is a jigsaw puzzle piece running around, I think, from basically the broom power-up or the brush.
Yeah.
And the fucking box art looks like a jigsaw puzzle.
It does. It looks so cool.
And yes, and I'm like, hell yeah. Like, I mean, it's one thing just to have the jigsaw puzzle piece. It's like, oh, that's kind of weird. But it looks like somebody has put a puzzle together of that picture. And even when you go to the startup screens, it's the same way. Yep. Everything is the puzzle piece. And I'm like, this is very pleasant. Yeah. Like, I mean, you're giving me a jigsaw puzzle game.
And you're fulfilling the opening scene like a jigsaw puzzle.
And, that part was really cool. I mean, I will agree with you that just looking at the box, I could totally blast by this and not pay attention. But being forced to play this and actually studying it and then reading the back, I'm like, this might be one of my more, I ain't gonna say it's my favorite, but it's in the top third of box arts that we've had so far. And it kind of reminded me a little bit, it kind of had a little bit of kookiness like Super Putty. Yeah. Like on the cover art. And I kind of like that. But that is the first thing I've got is the photo on the box. Yeah, and I did enjoy the back of the box a lot too. Yeah, I think the back of the box may be one of the more clever, fluid.
It rolled good. I will say that. You reading that, it sounded good. Like I said, it wasn't forceful. They used pieces correctly. You know, it's not like what is it like? People trying to force the puns in, like, say, you know, how people say, I'm going to make like a tree and leave.
Right.
Yeah, that's a bit forceful.
Hey, you remember what he says in Boondock Saints? I think it's,
I'm going to make like a tree and get the fuck out of here. Yeah. One of my favorites, still two of my favorite movies. I rewatch them at least once a year.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to one of the other things that I did like. I did like the way the layout was 3 puzzles per level.
Yeah.
Now, it was great when you were winning.
It sucked whenever you're losing.
Yes. You know, it seemed like once you got behind, it was pretty difficult to get back up.
No, you didn't get behind by a little bit.
Oh, yeah, you were getting just dog cussed on there.
Yeah, and by a little bit, I mean, like, if you were like 3 puzzle pieces slower than the computer, you were fucked.
But I will say, though, that I like playing the 3 puzzles because I would have really hated for it to load up after each puzzle. That wouldn't have been fun.
No.
So to do 3 of them was pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the next thing is, and one of them I kind of got a question mark because maybe it's good and maybe it's not. I don't know.
Am I going to have to talk you through this?
I feel like I didn't like the second part of it, but then it kind of, I think it may have been doing exactly what it was intended to do.
Okay.
I thought the music was pretty damn good.
Music was good for a puzzle.
So
for a puzzle game,
I actually enjoyed the music. It sounded very Japanesey. If you said, "Hey, here's this music," and I wasn't looking at the game, you say it's going to be a Japanese jigsaw puzzle game, I'd be like, "I see this." Now the sound effects, I don't think I really liked the sound effects because they were kind of annoying. Number one, when you put a puzzle piece in, it'd go like bloing or. It kind of made like a little buzzard sound. But the computer, when they placed one correctly or missed, it did the same thing. And so I'm sitting here thinking this is kind of annoying sound. And then at the same time, I feel like I hear them footsteps. I'm trying to find a piece for a puzzle, and I hear him just going off over there. Or one time, I'm over here trying to put a piece in, and I hit the button, and it goes, and I like move it up, and I'm like, oh shit, the piece is still on me. And I'm like, oh. The computer had it. So maybe the sound effects did exactly what they were supposed to do, but I feel like the music was way stronger. I didn't like the sound effects.
The way I took the sound effects was, think of it like this. We used to play Call of Duty together.
Right.
You bought a brand new headset.
Right.
You turn that bitch on Matt so you can hear the footsteps through so you can hear somebody coming up on you. That's what I liked about the sound effects. To me, you're sitting there working. You're not even paying attention to the opponents. You're going by the cues. To me, I was going by the sound effects of the person because each puzzle had, I think, roughly 30 some odd pieces, I think.
You know, I didn't even think about how many actual pieces. I'd say that's accurate. If you told me 25, 30, 35, something like that, I agree with that.
So I would keep track of, I wouldn't even look over at that side of the screen. I'm just sitting there working on mine, zoned in, and I'm trying to keep track of how many they've deemed.
Well, and it fucked with me, though, because it's a couple times I was fine, and I'd start hearing that cha-ching, cha-ching, and it fucked with me, and I fell to pieces. I started fucking. It was like it was a fear boner happened, and I just damn freaked out. And then of course I ended up getting beat. Son of a bitch, you know.
Yep.
So
I said it was the footsteps. I enjoyed the sound effects. It gave me some type of.
I enjoyed the music way more than the sound effects, but I do think sound effects probably was
because would you not
way they intended it?
Because how would you like it if there was like you had the sound effects, but the opponent didn't? Like, how would you like to be sitting there like, oh yeah, I just crushed puzzle 1. You over there look over, he's already halfway through puzzle 2.
Judging from what I've played of this game, I don't think they give a crap about our feelings. I think they want to crush it.
Don't.
Because I have a game that I've got to tell you, when we wrap this up, about the biggest bullshit that I caught in the game. Maybe I'll just talk about it after we break it. Okay, so one thing that is kind of cool, too, when it isn't you, is when you miss a piece, it kicks it back into what I call the deck. I guess.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, like, you know, you only get 3 pieces to choose from unless somebody power-ups you where you can only get 1. And, of course, it's kind of like putting a normal puzzle. Most people would start around the edges. So them are the easier spots, but, you know, when you would miss a piece, it didn't put it back into your 3. It, like, put it back in the shuffle.
Yeah, it re-rolled
So what it did was it kept you from spamming the pieces to trying to hit. And that is one thing that I think
love that
made the game right
I
there.
love that.
Even though it sucked a big goob when I screwed up.
Oh, yeah.
And I ended up with 3 centerpieces. But, you know, at the same time, when you guessed where one of them centerpieces went and you hit it, that did make you feel boss move right there.
Because, I mean, I know so many games nowadays, and it's for your phone. Like, I don't know, to the however many people are listening to us, let's just go ahead and face it, and let's just say it's 10. I don't know if you have the coloring apps on your phone, but some of those coloring apps, you know, you have those really fine, small areas that you got to color, and a lot of people, instead of actually looking for it, they just start spamming it and hoping that they hit it. That, I think, is such bullshit, and I'm glad they've done away with that in this puzzle game at least. I'm pretty sure there's other puzzle games out there that you can grab the puzzle and you just got to sit there and move the directional pad and just spam A and hopefully you'll get it right eventually.
Well, I kind of got a little bit about that in the Break It. I don't know that you'll agree with me or not. So there's one thing as well that I did enjoy before we get into the actual gameplay. It was kind of like I don't know, I mean, I guess it's really kind of like a Pokemon Puzzle League or anything else. Like, you just weren't playing around in a computer. They kind of gave you a boss each level. And, I mean, you had, like, what was one of them? Like a crab bowl or a rice bowl crab. You had, like, a mermaid. There's a freaking robot. You had Mystery Man. That was the very last guy, was the Mystery Man.
Never made him that far.
And
the movie was stupid, but
I will tell you that I did appreciate that every time, like, you got the crab guy, his little pinchers were the
cursor.
The cursor. So like the little fairy, her name was like Tinker Bellanina or something like that.
Knockoff of Tinkerbell.
Yes, and she had like a little wand was hers. And I'll tell you another thing that I did like. I just like the intimidation of them fucking with us. Is like before a game would start or they're waiting on that puzzle, the computer's cursor would just be going back and forth.
Yeah, dude.
And it's like they're just like a damn rabid dog ready to go. And I'm like
adamant.
And you know what I was doing? I was up there flopping my back and forth too. I was like, let's do it, motherfucker, you know. And you know what he did? He kicked the shit out of me. That's what happened.
But I'm not gonna, I did like that. I thought that was funny.
I did think that, you know, the bosses put a wrinkle into it, as I call them, bosses. the characters they introduced us to put a wrinkle into it. And the dialogue was fun whether you beat them or were lost. And I think there was a couple of them said, hey, your slowdown power-ups won't work against me. Try what you can, or try to stop me.
Yeah, I like the little hints.
And so then when you get into it, the gameplay itself to me was mixing pretty much skill, fun, and power-ups. And the power-ups...
with a little bit of luck.
Yeah, with a little bit of luck. And even though... See, this is crazy. Like, some of the power-ups, like the automatic ones, I didn't... Like, I think you could play it differently, but there was more strategy to me than, that I would put in than I think. Because, like, some of them, it was like, man, some of those cursor moves so slow down to the bottom, I was doing the automatic on the ones down the bottom. But at the same time, if you picked the ones at the top, like, you couldn't do another automatic until it was placed. So if you spam the ones at top, you were just rolling, like, immediately. Yeah. So it's like, which one was better? I don't know. I used both methods. But... I
think it was completely dependent on if you were playing this computer-wise or if you were doing it with a couch versus, know.
And then as well as once you used the power up, like, your power up tree would go once you used one, it like erased it all. Now you had, and one of the things that when it would come back, you wouldn't get the same power ups in the same order. Sometimes it would change up. But one of the things that I did like the most about the power ups was there was an even, I'd say an even number, but not all the power-ups were just to help you. Some of them was to fuck the other person.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, you had, like, 3 or 4 power-ups on there that really helped you, and you had power-ups that hurt the other person. My favorite power-ups myself was the automatic and the help. The automatic one, you just clicked on the piece and it placed it. Help it pull the piece while you were working on yours. And probably the most devastating one that you could ever... Like, there was one where you basically sucked the power out of an enemy. And I don't know what else you got out of him, but you sucked his power. I know that.
You did. You got his power. See, mine was the erase piece.
Well, it was the one that had like the paintbrush or the
sweeper.
That one was always more devastating when the computer used it.
Yeah, 100%.
I could see though playing couch co-op, just
and
like,
you using
there'd be some shit. I'd slap a controller out of your hand. Like this game, I feel like we get very heated, and I do think that this game is probably, even though we didn't get to play versus each other, that it probably takes it to another level.
Yeah,
but I did like the power-ups. It was challenging, too.
Yeah, and that's the thing I loved about this game the most, is it was a challenging game.
Now...
Like even on easy mode, it was still challenging a little bit. I refuse to play on easy mode. I just done it for the review,
I went straight to... I switched off easy and went to medium.
See, I go straight to medium. I always go to the default setting first. And it was hard. It was challenging. I liked it. And then I'm like, okay, well, I played this for a solid 20, 30 minutes. I'm going to try easy mode. And easy mode, I'm like, okay. Like, it's still a little challenging. Like, which was solid.
Well, and they kind of...
I didn't even touch the harder level.
Oh, yeah, I can only imagine.
Didn't even touch it.
I got into medium. I played the first guy, and I smoked this chump. I get over here, a little Tinkerbell Arena or whatever, kicked the shit out of me once, and I beat her. And I get to the damn... I'm trying to remember which one it was.
Wasn't it the mermaid next?
I think that... Well, maybe the mermaid. Maybe it was Tinkerbell that was fucking me up a little bit. I got to that. I played to the robot, and man, it was just like, where the fuck did this difficulty come from? I'm like, this is not like...
This doesn't feel like medium.
I'm sitting here thinking, fucking medium. Can you imagine playing this on hard? And my thumbs just hurt like hell. I'm over here just hammering it out.
Maybe it would have been a whole lot easier if we had the mouse.
Well, I will tell you, when we go to speedrun, I do have speedruns with the controller and speedruns with the mouse.
Okay.
So, I guess a couple of things that...
Another make it for me was the way the puzzle finished. Because it was sort of great. It wasn't. It was dull. It was dull. Mm-hmm. And at least it was on my emulator. I don't know if it was for you. But it was dull. But once you complete it, it turned real bright and vibrant.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't really notice that. But I've got like one more thing, I guess, really about the gameplay itself. Maybe two. But one of them was something that we didn't get to play. But I did watch and like... I don't know if it was part of a speed run or what. and it entertained the shit out of me.
Okay.
But I would just go ahead and say it's a puzzle game. It's a jigsaw puzzle. Now, I ain't going to say I enjoy doing jigsaw puzzles. I would not say, hey, let's damn slap hands, chest bump, get the damn whiskey out, do a couple shots, and let's put a jigsaw puzzle together. Like, that does not...
That sounds like it'd be entertaining.
Well, what happens with jigsaw puzzles, I put like 10 pieces, and then my brain hurts a little bit, and I'm like... the code is I'm going to go charge my phone and then I go take a nap. That's what I do. And I'm the guy that will hide a piece in my pocket so I can come back when nobody can find it and I put it in and say, hey, I put this puzzle together. I'm such a bitch when it comes to jigsaw puzzles. I can't help it.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of want to try to build a jigsaw puzzle now, shit-faced, just to see what happens.
I've got the one for you. I've got a 3D mosaic Star Wars.
Nope.
It almost killed me in Alley. It put the boundaries of our marriage. We found out where that stops at during this. But you took a jigsaw puzzle, which is typically, I would say fun, but it's a different level of fun than a video game about jigsaw puzzles does not sound fun whatsoever.
It doesn't.
And they did make a fun puzzle game.
I
did enjoy that. Now, here's two things. This is the one thing that cracked me up the most. Is there's nothing more Japanese than how the game ends.
I didn't see how it ended.
Okay, so I don't really know the whole lore other than just battling these bosses, right? So when you beat Mystery Man, which fucked me up several times. I mean, pretty much the last three bosses, it worked me over pretty good. It wasn't me just beating them on the first time. Like, you had to hit it just right, One power up was the difference between winning or losing on a clean run. But so after I beat them all, it's so fucking ridiculous that I loved it. And it's like, this is a Japanese game. Is all the bosses that you played were in a fucking UFO. And so there's like this little UFO with the glass bubble, like you would imagine, like Defender style. And they're all just sitting there, and it's like, director, special thanks. And then finally it takes off, and I'm like, why the fuck are they in a damn UFO? But I'm like, this is so ridiculous, but I dig it. I dig the shit out of it.
That's pretty.
Throw a fucking cat in that UFO too, whatever.
Busts out, goes, nah.
But yeah, I was just like, oh my god, it's a fucking... All these cats are in a damn UFO, and how fun is that?
That's pretty entertaining. Not gonna lie, that's pretty entertaining.
So here's one thing that I did look up, because it says you can play up to 5 players with the multi-tap, blah, blah, blah. We didn't get to play 5 players, Josh. Let me just tell you.
Is this how we can do our draft picks for fantasy football?
Nobody can fathom this. Just let me explain to you. This is the first thing I put about their multiplayer. Multiplayer is fucking nuts. It is fucking nuts. So that little grid that we have that in single player, you're putting the puzzles together. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's twice the size, but it's bigger. Okay. So like if you're playing like with a little rectangle, you're getting more of a square.
Yeah.
And so you can have up to 5 people multi-tapped up. And what happens is instead of having 3 pieces across the top, there's 5. And it's a mad fucking dash for everybody. you go pick up pick a piece up, you go place it, it gives you like 100 points. So then you go get another one and it puts you. So everybody that's placing one correctly, you put it wrong, it goes back to shuffle. So it's just a mad fucking dash for these pieces. It's not like, hey, each person gets them. It's
one puzzle.
Yes, it is one puzzle that everybody is working together,
and they keep track of points. So at the end of the day, highest points wins.
But there's a kick to it. Well, first of all, it did look like one of the pictures was the one I seen was like the killer whales or the dolphins. It looked like it was a bigger picture, so there was more to it. But every now and then, so it's just like, okay, whoever can place the most pieces wins. But all of a sudden, there's a fucking flashing puzzle piece. Like, they would come up like several times. It wasn't like it was super rare, but I could see maybe you could get one per game, per person, but like, they might be 3 or 4 of them in that whole like 3 minute, I think it was 3 minutes to complete the puzzle. And once you got it and you placed it, it rolled like Wheel of Fortune style, kind of like Mario Kart, I guess.
Yeah.
Like plus 100 plus times 2 were 0. And so if you were like hurting and you were about to lose, you could throw it in there. If you were ahead, you could throw it in there. Fuck yourself. You could go from high score to 0. It could reset you, or it could double your point.
Dear Jesus.
Yeah, man, I seen this 5 people playing. It was just fingers going everywhere, and I'm like, this is so fucking nuts right here. Like, how can you tell what the hell is happening? Because everybody's puzzle pieces are moving at the same time.
Are your hands at least color coordinated, or are they all the same?
I think they were color coordinated.
Okay, that makes it a little easier.
But I'm like, this is freaking nuts, and I was kind of upset that we didn't get to play.
That would have been fun.
All right, so that's all I've got to make, Josh.
Hey, we could. Right now, it's me, you, Allie, Jennifer, and I got one kid here.
As fun as that does sound, I think the ship has sailed on this game for me at this point. So, do you have anything on your heart for what makes it?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I said, let's move it on into the break it side.
First thing I got, the controls aren't great.
Nope, absolutely
Now,
not.
you can allegedly play with the Super Nintendo mouse.
Maybe it's better.
We did.
I don't know.
This is one of those games, you're in a hurry the whole time. I felt like my finger was moving across the cheese grater. My thumb hurts like hell from this game.
Yep. See, playing on an emulator on my phone, my thumb doesn't hurt, but I could only imagine.
Now, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever had, but at the same time, the part that bothered me the most is placing the pieces when I would hit the button and it didn't place them.
Yep.
That was a little frustrating, you know.
There was like a lag disconnect. I don't know what to call it, because, lag you hit, it normally takes it a minute or a few seconds for it to go, but this here, you would hit the button, but it wouldn't play. So it was like a disconnect.
So another thing that goes in with, really the base of the gameplay, and we'll get back into some of the controls, because this did play a factor of the speed of the game was pretty slow. Like, playing all 3 levels would actually go by very quick, but the movement speed of your cursor
was very slow. It would have been so much better if there was a sensitivity.
There was nothing worse than me getting a puzzle piece at the bottom of a puzzle, because the whole time I'm sitting there scrolling down, waiting for it to hit that place, to hit the button. And I don't know how many times I hit the button early or late.
I was about to say, a little too early.
And man, like, I'm telling you, these fuckers weren't messing around. When you were playing these guys, like, it got tough. So, like, if you moved all the way to the bottom and missed it, you were at least 2 pieces behind at that point.
Easy.
Because then you had to scroll all the way up. And so basically a lot of time I'm sitting there and I can see where I'm wanting to go, and I'm waiting to get there. And then, and in their defense, it's my own dumbass that clicked the button early or late, but the controls were pretty bad too. It was slow, not really responsive, but, I just felt like it was letting me fuck myself.
Yeah. I said, game would be completely different if you had a sensitivity meter. Turn up the sensitivity, make your cursor move a little faster.
So another thing is, and this is I got in the break-up, but it's not really the fault of this game and the time, is the game boards were pretty repetitive, which wasn't necessarily bad, but, I can imagine if there was even like, a jump drive where you could add, like, I mean, I know you couldn't, but like nowadays this would be such a simple fix with, DLCs and photo packs. I bet today you could upload a selfie of yourself and it can jigsaw that out.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, too, the photos to me were irrelevant, because there wasn't many times that I even had an opportunity to say, let me see where this piece goes. It looks like it goes right here. It was like, oh no, top piece with 2 ends. It goes here. So even though some of the interior of the photo would go, a lot of times it was just kind of going with the color scheme. Like, it wasn't really like, I'd say, oh, it's a dinosaur when it pops up, and then when I complete it, it's a dinosaur. Yeah. But to me, it was just pieces, just trying to get these pieces in. So even though the photos were kind of redundant, the photos were kind of irrelevant, which it was just, so at the end of the day, I felt like I was just the first person to put puzzle pieces in place. It didn't really matter what I was putting together.
No, and I get that too, because I said, I noticed it on my emulator, just because it caught my eye. Like I said, it went dull, and then it went a little brighter. It went a little bit more vivid before it went off screen. So, with that being said, I didn't really notice the picture until it went bright.
Right. That
Because
was it.
it was
Absolutely.
an eye pop.
Yeah, when it popped up after you did one or when you're starting, it gives you the countdown from 3. I didn't really care what the picture is. It's like, what's the first 3 pieces coming out? And that was the thing. It was like, please give me corner pieces or something like that, This probably goes into the biggest part of it, and once again, maybe it's not 100% the game because I don't have an instruction manual, but not knowing what half the fucking power-ups are.
Yep, I agree.
These power-ups is like trying to determine what all the Sim City icons are, and it was like, once I found the ones I liked, I kind of stuck to them. But, like, I don't know what the one that looked like a submarine with the sonar going down was. It was one of the first ones, so it had to suck. It's like, I ain't wasting no time. I don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah,
There's nothing that a sonar nor a submarine can do to help me out right here.
I'm not gonna spend my power energy on this.
Right, and you had to have the power-ups to win. Like, I feel confident in that. So, I didn't know what half the power-ups were. And I just found the ones that I liked, and I stuck to them.
So I like the sweeper.
The sweeper was good. That was a very last power-up right there. And I guess while we're talking about power-ups, another thing was the computer pulling some computer bullshit moves. Like, I don't know how many times I'm sitting there and I see his cursor moving over to that sweeper. And I have that little power sucker.
Yeah.
And I hit it, but somehow he magically hit his little broom beforehand. Or vice versa, right as I'm heading there, he fucks me and takes my power-ups away.
Computer bullshit is the best way to explain that.
And that was computer being computer. Now, I'm all about a challenge, and you make them good. But come on. Do we have to give him some bullshit power-up moves, And I will go ahead and tell you, though, like, that was a thing, though, that was noticeable when I was putting my puzzle together, is watching his power-ups. That's how I knew he was ahead of me. Because you could kind of have an idea. You're close in the puzzle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, he's going to get that damn power-up sucker before I'm going to get anything. It's like, I'm fucked, It's like, I got to rely on my wits, and this is not going to work out very well.
See, I use the ding.
So, I've only got one more thing, and this one probably, I kind of feel like I'm beating it up, like I'm getting nitpicky. But for me, the last thing I have that breaks the game is there's not really a whole lot of depth to it. You're playing the same puzzles over and over.
Yeah.
There's not really that many bosses, even though my thumb hurt enough that I was done with it. And it wasn't like, I'm having to do like circles on it. It was just like trying to go in a hurry is what hurt my thumb on here. And I'll survive. I can rehabilitate. I'll be back next week, so I'm not being a little whiny bitch
tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not being a little whiny bitch. No, I'm not going to work tomorrow. It's my off day. But
okay.
But the depth of the game itself, there's not really a story. There ain't really a whole lot of depth. You're putting a few puzzles together, but at the same time, they give you bosses that you play, and I don't know. There's not a whole lot there, but if you ask me, how could you add that into a jigsaw puzzle game? I don't think I could have probably did it better. But it was just, there wasn't a whole lot of depth.
You could have gave me a little bit of story as to why we're in a UFO.
Well, and
that, I think that would be the only way you could fix that.
But as well, this is one of those games, I guess, with the way it was, is if you rented this game and you didn't like it, you're gonna never like it. Like, it's not like, hey, I get to the next stage and it's a little better. Like, in Mario, where you're playing, you might not like a stage, but you power through it. Like, you might not like the water stage, but then you get to the castle, and then you get to this, and you're okay. Like, it's kind of like the missions where you gotta be stealth, destroy something, or protect. Everybody hates those protect missions. But, once you get done...
Escort missions.
The escort.
Escort missions are the worst.
So once you get done with that, you appreciate the game. This game was the same thing. If you hated the first level, you're going to hate the second. You're going to hate every damn one of them. They just get tougher, and you get more computer power-up fuckings headed toward you.
Yep.
And that, to me, is all I have to air out.
I agree. The only thing I want to say is I for some reason... I just got a gut feeling on this game that I think there's a cult following for it. And it kind of sucks because if there is, we didn't really tear this one apart like we did Dragon View.
I think that if there's a following, it's because people who are collecting Atlus games.
See, they have to be collecting
Now,
Atlus.
with this being said, this shouldn't affect I'll go ahead and tell you this. It's going to be weird when we get to price charting because I didn't find a whole lot of them online.
Oh, that's lovely.
But it might not. I think part of it's going to blow your mind one way, and part of it's going to blow your mind the other way. But we'll come back to that. But,
Okay.
so, have you aired all your grievances?
Yeah, I think I have.
I don't think you enjoyed this game very much, did you?
It was okay.
I liked the game. I'm not gonna lie.
I can tell.
I liked the game. I thought it was bad. Well, I was dreading it, and I'm like, man, I like the puzzle stuff. And I'm like, you give me this hot piece of garbage jigsaw puzzle. And like, this was kind of like playing Wild Snake. It's like, this looks interesting. And then it really wasn't. I was going in and had low expectations, and I was kind of pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I had low expectation, and I was surprised. I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised about this game.
When I played this game, I was like, I know that maybe even next week when we have the next game, we may have a disagreement. Like last season, we went 9 games, exact ranking, into the last one. I have a hot take that it is not going to take 9 games before we have a disagreement. Like, no, I think I will be way higher.
But we will be right on this one.
Yes, this is correct. First game of the season. So, all right. So we done told you what makes it. We've told you what breaks it. So I've got 2 little fun facts. I've got a couple of
speed runs. I know you got them.
A couple of speed runs, and I've got 2 reviews.
Oh,
you want to hear the reviews
Yes,
first?
I do.
The reviews are from people we've heard of. I may have them in there. We got GamePro and Electronic Gaming Monthly.
Okay.
GamePro writer called it an interesting variation on the standard puzzler theme. Said it was a solid challenge, easy controls, and a variety of puzzles. I could see at the time that being a legit review.
Yeah. Easy controls would have to be him using the mouse,
absolutely,
right? Has to be.
And that's part of one of my fun facts that don't really have anything to do with the game. It's just something that I was curious about, and I figured you would probably be curious.
Yeah, 100%.
Electronic Gaming Monthly, this one is what I liked. And I feel like they've hit the nail on the head. EGM called it unique with a solid challenge, but said the versus mode was the strongest feature. A team of their 5 reviewers gave it an 8.2 out of 10.
See, I could see if versus mode was as crazy as you described it.
And yeah, it was. But I think even just playing against each other, it did kind of remind me a lot of like a Pokemon Puzzle League, like on Nintendo 64. Like, it was a different. It wasn't a match 3 or match colors, but like it was.
It had that feel.
I can hear you going, "Hey, you son of a bitch, stop!" Like, hey, Josh, don't fuck up. Like I could see, like talking a lot of shit and making that more fun. And there was another one I think that they had this game like in the top 50 games for that year. It was like in the top 25. But basically, the general consensus was, hey, this is a good kind of party puzzle game. But there was
there wasn't a lot out there at that time.
Well, there was one that definitely outshined it, and it was Bomberman.
Yeah,
and Super Bomberman, and so. But at the end of the day, this is a middle of the road game.
But like I said, as far as a party game goes, there wasn't a lot out there. Like I said, you got Super Bomberman, Mario Kart. Now
if we were talking, hey, if you said Super Nintendo games that were released in that year, is this in the top 50 of them? Yeah, probably. If you said, hey, across all the platforms, and I don't know that it is, I've not looked at the release dates, but if you said across all the platforms, I think that would be a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
But, so I just thought, I like both of the reviews on them.
Yeah,
I think they were legit.
I think they were solid for that time, for that era.
You want, fun facts? You want to jump to speed runs?
Let's go fun facts.
Okay. I think I kind of like, it went by a different name in Japan. Pretty simple. Don't overthink it. I like the Japanese translation to it better. What was it called in Japan?
Puzzle.
Jigsaw Party.
Okay, yeah.
I like Jigsaw Party.
I like it. That's acceptable.
So, growing up, when you talk about the SNES mouse, I think Mario Paint, that's it. I don't know that I ever had the SNES mouse, or I sure as hell know if I did, I didn't play it for anything other than Mario Paint. But I don't really recall a whole lot of games that I could play with it.
But we've played 2 so far.
What was the first one? Untouchables?
No, Sim Ant.
Sim Ant, you're right. So I was just wanting to know how many games for the Super Nintendo had mouse support.
Yeah.
I would say I'm probably surprised. I thought there would be less. But I mean, Mario Paint, I feel like was pretty early. I don't know. But how many games would you say have mouse support? I mean, if you would ask me, I was like probably 14 is what I thought it would probably be.
See, no, I'm going to go with like the level of the FX chip. I want to say single digits. I want to say like maybe 8.
You're wrong. No, it is more than that.
Really?
There's more than I thought there would be.
50?
Over 60.
Really?
I didn't go to the exact one. Like I said, there's over 60 games that show support in some facet for the SNES mouse, which blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like, this makes me, like, I can see myself, like, laying in bed on a Friday night.
Cruising your eBay.
Old lady's already asleep or reading. I'm like, I ain't ready to go to bed just yet. I could see me chasing down. And then the bad part is I could say, hey, I've already got a few of these games. I could get every game for that has a SNES mouse. Like, go for the SNES mouse set. Yeah. That's the problem. Like, I've thought about this and I've fought this off. But it's going to be one random night that I'm not ready to go to bed.
And it's just going to hit you. The monster's just going to jump up and grab you.
And I'm going to say this until I find the most expensive one. And that's probably going to scare the shit out of me from buying it. But,
yeah.
All right. Speedruns? Speedruns, anybody? Speedruns.
Give me some good names.
Okay. Well, to be honest, I haven't really looked at the names. Okay. So we're going to do... It's...
Controller first.
It's controller. It says easy-hard. So I'm guessing everybody probably played it on easy.
Yeah.
What do you think the speed run... I think, like I say, 6-8 bosses. You know, obviously the key is going to be having to win on the first try.
And also I think it's going to have to be luck of the puzzle pieces that allows you to choose.
The person who is holding the record is an American, or claims to be an American, and he has about a 40-second lead over second place. He set this 6 years ago, and it's
got to be. I know it's going to be something stupid, and I'm wanting to run it. I'm going to say about 30 minutes.
No, you're high.
I figured.
Give me one more guess.
I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to call it 15.
13 minutes, 15 seconds, and 60 milliseconds.
Okay. They're breaking this down to the millisecond.
Yes. So we'll go in here to... There's several people in the 14-minute range. I'm going to go with the top 3. It looks like there's 2 Americans and a German. Or... I'm not going to say Belgium. We made that mistake on Gran Turismo one evening.
Well, we did, and we got yelled at hard.
So, in third place, somebody with 14 minutes, 2 seconds, 780 milliseconds is BMac_attack_64. Big Mac Attack 64.
I like it. That's a solid name.
I pray to God that he loves Nintendo 64, because as much as Nintendo 64 gets shit on, I love it too. I do think that Super Nintendo may be the GOAT of systems, but Nintendo 64 has a soft spot in my heart, and it makes my thumb throb going across that damn controller.
Yeah, I will say this. The 64 has a soft spot for me. It was a solid game. I think it was ahead of its time due to the graphics and everything.
Now, second place is a German. 13 minutes, 56 seconds, 47 milliseconds. His name is Munchalags. Munchlags.
I like it.
Or would it be Munchlags? I don't know. It says Munchlags.
I'm going to go with Munchlax because that's a Pokemon.
Oh, well, I did not know that.
It's a baby Snorlax.
The top is 13 minutes, 15 seconds, 60 milliseconds. His name, or her name, is Welshi, Welshi. Welshi. That's what I like.
Yeah, Welshi.
Now, there's a couple. There's a guy down here in 10th place. His name is Meaty Guy. I think that sounds inappropriate because the guy above him is Nick B. Go Hard.
Okay. Yeah.
Smart Alec 24 is on the list.
No Scuba Steves.
No. There's a Canadian in 4th place that is Jugajoga. Jugga Jogga.
Jugga Jogga.
I feel Jugga Jogga. Like, I don't know. That might be my favorite game. My name of all of it. Damn Canuck. Now,
pretty solid.
This should be mentioned too, I guess. The top 2, the Welshi and Munchlags, is on SNES emulators. I'm sure there's not a rewind effect into that, but with them turning that in.
Yeah.
But B-Mac Attack 64 2 years ago did it all natural on the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
So just keep in mind, 13 minutes, 15 seconds is what they did it with the controller. With the mouse.
Oh, dude. 7 minutes. Cutting that shit in half.
No. About 1 minute quicker, roughly. 50.
Really?
So, E-Runks, E-R-U-N-K-S, is 5th on the controller. He's number 1 on the mouse, or her.
Okay.
There is a couple of good names here. So, there's only like 6 runs, I think, that was turned in. And they are going to run through the names of E. Magan 303, Unessential, Bald Nate. When we get to 3rd place, it looks like an Argentinian named Ghosty Mega. He completed it in 16 minutes, 21 seconds, so he was slower than the guys with the controller.
Yeah.
2 Americans at the top. Both of them are both quicker than the controller. 2nd place with 12 minutes, 32 seconds, Old School McFly.
Like Old School McFly.
The guy who finished, I think we said, 5th place, 4th place?
Yeah.
5th place under Jugga Jogga.
Jugga Jogga.
Was E-Runks. He completed it in 12 minutes, 19 seconds. And it shows, strangely enough, he completed this on a Super Nintendo Japanese version.
Oh.
And it also shows what mouse type they were used.
Oh.
So people have used this with an emulator with a computer mouse, the SNES mouse. The top 2 have used the Hyperkin mouse, which I don't know if that... I looked at it. To me, it looked like a third-party mouse. It's supposed to look like a Mario Paint one. It may be the Japanese Mario Paint version. I don't know. But either or.
Okay.
So I mean, I feel like them are probably appropriate what I thought they were. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this.
My question is this. If they'd done it on a Japanese Nintendo, did they play pieces or did they play jigsaw
Party?
I
don't know. It was recognized,
Yeah.
And I feel like the community, say what you want about these speedrunners. I don't think they say, hey, we're splitting hairs as long as it's the same game.
Yeah.
Now, I'll go ahead and tell you, I've found very few, but I found one that had sold on eBay, really. Maybe 2. So
maybe 2.
I didn't find any complete in box or any new. And this is going to be outrageous in a way you don't expect. So I'm going with price charting. I feel like price charting is a little low on what I found, but this game isn't very plentiful.
Yeah.
But it's not going to, I'm going to tell you, it isn't going to be no 3 digits. Don't worry about that. It's a jigsaw puzzle game. What do you think a loose copy of this runs for, Josh?
Me, personally, I'd pay $20 for this.
You're low.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, you got and I was going to save the tidbit about the company being Guinness Book of World Records for most RPGs, but I felt like I needed to say it then. But you got to think, hey, it's a puzzle game with Atlus and an RPG maker.
Yeah.
You're not too far off.
I go 27.
Price charting shows it at $30.05.
$30? Okay.
The ones I seen on eBay was like $35, $4.95 shipping. I called it $40.
Yeah, 40 even.
So that part, I'm like, that's kind of high.
Yeah, but for a collector, for your greedy monster.
All right. Complete in box. So this is, what do you think a complete in box copy goes for?
Normally, I triple it.
Okay. Well, you do what you need to do.
So that would be roughly $90. And I feel like I'm low.
I would say you're close. So this is very important. Complete in box is $109.95.
Okay.
What do you think a new coffee sells for?
Normally, I would multiply that by 3 or 4, so that's like a little over 300, a little over 400. But with this being an Atlus game with a world record and everything, I'm going to call it probably 7.
This is according to price charting, and I can't prove it wrong because I can't find it. Complete in box is $109.95. New is $109.99.
Really?
The only thing I can think is there's not a lot of these out there. They're going by what it's sold by.
Yeah.
So my guess is somebody probably sold it either just to get rid of it, didn't know what they had. I mean, it could be two things. It could be somebody bought a complete in box one for $110 because they don't see it often. Or it could be that somebody didn't know what they had, because if I seen it sold for $109, me personally, I'd have probably put it at $800 on eBay or Best Offer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that was very
That's
weird.
it.
And so from loose to complete in box to new, according to price charting, is $30.05, $109.95, and $109.99. I was at work when I was doing this, and I laughed when I seen that. I was like, "Oh, this is the first time this has happened."
Yeah, that's great. Because honestly, dude, a new copy of this for $109, I'd probably pay for that.
So, you know what I'm going to ask you at the end of the day? I got this game over here. I got pieces in one hand, or I got $15 cash. And I said, take one, but you can't have both. It's dangerous out there. Don't go alone. And you pick one of the two. You taking $15 cash, or are you taking the game?
I'm taking the game on this one.
You know what? As far as the gameplay, I would probably take the cash. But if I actually got to hold the cartridge and look and see the jigsaw pieces,
yeah,
I think I would take the cartridge on this.
I'm taking the cart on this.
So this is season 1. Regardless of where we're going to rank this, we're just going to go ahead and spoiler alert it.
Number 1.
Out of a game that we have 0 games ranked for this season, where do you rank this, Josh?
Number 1.
It is number 1. We are both in agreement. It's the only game. It is the GOAT so far of season 3. I'm sure that's not going to last. If it does, that's going to suck a little bit.
That's going to be terrible for us.
I feel like out of these 10 games, this might be in the top 5 for me. Like, I feel like this is on the upper half than the bottom half.
It depends on the games for me.
So, I think when we put this in here, I'm going to be way higher. I enjoyed this game. I really did.
It wasn't bad.
Now, I had a little bit of limited time, and so I tried to hammer it out in a day or two. And so I feel like if I took my time, it would have been a little more enjoyable. But I do think that I enjoyed it the way it was, and we didn't get to play the party style.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm just grading it on what I played, and I still enjoyed it. So
I bet if we played the party style, I would enjoy this a lot more.
Well, yeah, based on our other SNES mouse, I think it's better than Sim-Ant.
It's 100% better than Sim-Ant.
Well, I guess we're not going to beat a dead horse too much. We're going to go ahead and end this episode. We're going to move on to episode 32.
32, not 42.
Not 42. And then I guess we'll just see. We'll see how Pieces. Do you think Pieces are going to be holding, just off a random guess, do you think Pieces will be number 1 next week?
No.
Do you have a prediction?
I want to keep with the trend.
There's always themes that happen.
Yeah. See, and all right. So I think this carried over from last season's trend, because our last game we played was a game designed for a SNES mouse. Mm-hmm. This was a SNES mouse.
Okay.
I want an Atlus game now. I think we're getting an RPG.
I was about to say RPG. Son of a bitch. You got mine. I was going to say RPG. So I got to be different.
Hey.
We're getting a puzzle game.
Not
jigsaw puzzle, but we're going to get maybe I'm
not going to call it Dr. Mario.
Dr. Mario, Tetris, yes. It's going to be a match 3, some sort of puzzle game. So we're both on the same. It's going to happen because we have the themes.
That
happen whether we
had
Amiga
or not. We had Amiga for a while. We had the FX chip. Mm. Then we had the simulators.
Yeah, FX.
And then Capcom.
And you know what? Heck, at the rate we're going, we might knock all them the FX chips out this season. I don't know. We already knocked out like 33% of them or something.
4.
What, Star Fox, Vortex, Dirt Track FX, I think are the 3. Am I missing one?
No, you're not. Yeah.
And I think there was 8 of them, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
there was like 8.
We'll knock these things out like nut. All right, so Josh saying RPG. I'm saying puzzle game. I think we're both on board.
We have the same mantra.
Watch this season have no correlation. That will be just as entertaining.
Watch it be a wrestling.
Man, there was some bomb-ass wrestling games. I'm just saying. All right, so we're out of here, guys.
See ya.